every year since 2007, Apple has released a new iPhone like clockwork. And it has long been known that Apple iPhones, after a few years, start to slow down and stop holding a charge nearly as well. Like this Apple iPhone here, which is an iPhone 7. It was my previous phone until I just barely switched to the Samsung S21 Ultra. Now, people think that this is Apple purposefully trying to slow down your phone so you will buy their new phones, which makes a little bit of sense if you think about it, right? Like, Apple wants to continue making phones, and if they're going to continue making phones, they need you to continue buying phones. And so if every 3 years they can slow down your phone, about every 3 to 4 years they can slow down your phone so it no longer works like it used to, then you have to go buy a new phone. The problem is that actually totally isn't true. Apple needing to make more money actually has nothing to do with your phone slowing down. Does Apple want to make more money? Yeah. Do they want you to replace your phone when, it starts to slow down? Yeah. But that's not why your phone slows down. It's just a byproduct of how their phones are set up. And you're like, well, that's the same thing. Well, actually, no, it's not. And if you were to keep any other phone like Samsung or a Google phone or, an Oppo or a Huawei or a Xiaomi or whatever, it would do the exact same thing as the iPhones. It's not like Apple's out to get you and out to, slow your phone down. If Apple was out to get you and trying to slow your phone down on purpose, all it would take is a company like Samsung to be like, well, we don't slow down our phones. And boom, they'd have a bunch more customers switch from Apple over to Samsung because they want their phones to last longer. Instead, what the slowing down of the phone is, and the reason it can't hold the charge, all has to do with the kind of battery that's inside the phone. Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, all of them, they all use what's called lithium-ion batteries inside their phones. And lithium-ion batteries is still the best technology for phones as far as batteries go on the market today, even though the technology's been around for decades. There are plenty of really big advantages to having a lithium-ion battery in your phone. Number one, it can charge super fast. Now, with phones nowadays holding batteries that can have a charge that lasts for like 10 to 15 to like 20 hours sometime under load, your phone can have like just a massive battery inside it. And fast charging is something lithium-ion batteries have always been able to do, but the problem is that with a phone like this, an iPhone 7, originally it could only hold 7 to 8 hours of battery life. And fast charging wears your battery down. It actually makes it so your battery wears out faster and then it doesn't hold a charge as well, and the quality of your battery goes down. Well, so that's a big deal on a phone like this, where you go from 7 to 8 hours to 2 or 3 hours. That's a really big deal. That's a really big cut, and it makes the phone almost unusable for long periods of time. Whereas with the Samsung S21 Ultra, where that battery will probably last for 15 hours on end of extended use, under load, I could fast charge that thing to the moon, and instead of it dropping down to like 2 or 3 hours of use time, it'll probably jump down to 6 or 7 hours of use time, which is still a pretty usable, experience. And so even though fast charging is bad for your phone, it is something that you can in fact do and have it still be a usable experience. So lithium-ion batteries are capable of charging really fast. They also hold a charge really well. This is an old phone, right? I bought it 3 years ago. The battery's starting to decay. It's not going well. And yet I haven't charged this phone for a week. I haven't done anything with it, but it's still at 8%. So I haven't charged this thing in a week, which means that over the course of a week, even on this practically dead battery, it's still holding a charge for over a week. And that's an insane amount of time for a phone to be holding a charge. And other battery compositions besides lithium batteries don't do that. So that's another benefit of having a lithium battery. Another benefit is that it doesn't have what's called the memory effect on this battery. Other battery compositions, like a nickel metal hydride battery, have what's called a memory effect, which means that you have to drain the battery completely before you can recharge your battery, right? And that's totally not something that we like to do as humans that have phones. What we do is that anytime our phone dips below 90% and we're near a wall that has a charger, we plug our phones in. And you couldn't do that with a battery that isn't a lithium-ion battery. And so you have all of these benefits to having a lithium ion battery, including it's also light. So when your phone is made of glass and metal, which are, heavy, materials to make a phone with, having a good chunk of your phone be lithium means that your phone's going to be significantly lighter. So that's another benefit to having it. So you have all of these benefits. It charges fast, it holds a charge, it doesn't have a memory effect, it's super lightweight. All of these benefits come inside a lithium battery. But one of the downsides to a lithium battery, even though you have all of these upsides, is that the battery starts to decay immediately after it's made, which means that it just starts to not hold a charge as well as it used to, which means that the day you get your phone, whether it's an iPhone or a Samsung, but particularly iPhones, the day you get your iPhone, that's the longest that battery is going to be able to stay usable. And every day you use it, and every day you charge your phone, the battery capacity is going to drop every single day until after a few years, like 3 years, your battery will go from 100% to 10% after just 2 hours of usage, right? So it's a really, really big deal, that these phones just kind of start to decay. And then they also decay pretty fast towards the end, right? So maybe you don't notice much of a difference for the first year and a half. And then in that second or third year, you start to notice this significant drop off where you turn your phone on, you'll use it for 20 minutes and it'll drop from 80% to 40%. That's something that happens pretty frequently too. And so it starts to decay pretty quickly. And then another thing that happens with these phones or with these batteries is that they require a computer in order to work inside your phone. And so, your phone is kind of what makes your battery work, but then your battery is also what makes the phone work. So when your battery starts to decay, that starts to affect how your phone functions, which is why your phone starts to slow down. All of this means that what you could do is, instead of replacing your phone, you could just replace the battery inside your phone and it would start to work good as new. But that's easier said than done. There are technicians that'll do it. I'm not a pro at this. I don't typically work on phones. I work on laptops and computers. But there are technicians that can do this for $40-50, and they'll replace the battery inside your phone and your phone will work just as new. So if you're not up to buying a new iPhone, don't, just replace the battery in your old phone. Now, Apple does in fact make it pretty hard to replace your battery, and that is all about money. So even though them slowing down your phone isn't necessarily about them trying to get you to buy a new phone, them making your battery hard to replace is about them trying to make money and not slow your phone, and not let you keep your phone for an extended period of time. And that all has to do with something called a right to repair, which is an entirely different subject, but there is the answer. That's how iPhones slow down over time, is that the battery they use, although the best battery that you can put inside a phone, is a battery that decays and eventually goes bad. A couple of other things before I let you go here is that the battery will swell over time too. No matter how many times you use it or whatever, over time the battery will start to swell, and that's just because of how lithium works. And then if you let it go too long without replacing your battery, the battery has a chance, it's a small chance, but it does have a chance that it will burst into flames. So if your phone ever bursts into flames, you'll know that it was time to replace your battery. But if your phone is on fire, you should probably just replace the whole phone. That's all we have for today. If you enjoyed this video and you found this content useful, go ahead and hit the like button down below and subscribe. I'm your nerdy neighbor, so I have useful videos that I'm putting out all the time. So be sure you're on the lookout for more content. And until next time, we'll see you later.